We'll call our public hearing to order at this time. We do have 6 items on our agenda tonight for our public hearing. The first one is for ordinance number 2022-08. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance number 2022-08, request from William Hickson to have the property known as map 0002G00100E, lot number 7, Vince Sparks property, Joy Street, current zoning industrial 1, rezoned to C2 for an overflow lot to store cars from a repossession business. Is there anyone here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this rezoning?
We do, sir.
Yes, ma'am, if you'd come up. Ma'am, if I could get you to sign in right here with your name, then go to the podium over there, address the council, and state your full name when you start. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, Council. My name is Erin Campbell. I live on 191 Roundtree Drive, which is directly behind Joyland Daycare, and also about 150 feet from the lot that we're proposing to rezone. On the other side of me is a pallet factory, which has a lot of traffic with transfer trucks. We're right beside the loading dock. So essentially what we have is a lot of noise, a lot of issues with that, with which we've been in communication with the kind folks here in zoning. They've been very helpful with us as far as maintaining a schedule, because it's quite often that we're woken up at 4:30 a.m. to a tractor trailer's headlights in our window, which my neighbors will also speak to when they get the chance. But once we heard about this lot that's going to be rezoned and used as a impound lot, we have a lot of concerns around that, just because it's essentially inside our subdivision. It was our understanding that lot in particular was part of a group of lots that was owned by the HOA, that was used essentially as like a water overflow. So the idea that that would be sold and then used for a purpose such as an impound lot, that just really never kind of entered our minds as something to be concerned about or something that could happen. Because again, if you saw this lot in the proximity to the houses, it's in the subdivision, also in the cul-de-sac of the subdivision. So you would see houses, impound lot. So it's just really confusing for us and doesn't make a lot of sense. We have a lot of concerns around it. So myself, my neighbors, we've come out today really just to voice our opinions. We would really appreciate a better solution from the council for use of that lot that doesn't include additional nuisance around our homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of ordinance number 2022-08?
Yes.
Yes, come up please, ma'am, and if you would, sign your name. When you get to the podium, announce your name to the council, please. Thank you very much.
Hi. Thanks for hearing me today. I know we walked in a little bit late. We were trying to find the right door.
Ma'am, could you announce your name?
Yes, I'm sorry, Brenda Langston.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. I reside at 205 Roundtree Drive in Hidden Pond subdivision. Yeah, when this was brought to my attention, I was really heartsick. I'm just very sick over the whole thing, because if an impound lot goes into that property, it will back up to my property. It will actually be, I have pictures of it if you want to see, but it is very, very close to the line. So, and I have a child that plays outside, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And so, like Aaron was saying, the pallet company is already a big nuisance being behind us. I have pictures of trucks that come right at my fence. And the city of Fort Oglethorpe has been very good in helping us with that. Code enforcement has talked to the pallet company, and it's not loud in the mornings like it used to be. Like, it'd wake me up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And so I went for a good deal of my time since moving there being very sleep deprived and very upset. I'm just sick over moving there. So I can only say that if that lot is put in there and it's right up against my property line, that's just very concerning to me. I don't know what kind of hours cars would be dropped in. I don't know exactly what. I'm told that it would just be a concrete slab kind of thing with a big light, and that would shine right into my home. And I have enough of that already. So and I'm also thinking that it might bring in some riffraff into our neighborhood, because people that, I mean, we have to be honest about it, people that get their cars repoed are usually not the most upstanding citizens. And so I'm afraid that they would come and try to, you know, get into their cars or bring a nuisance to our neighborhood. And so I just ask you to really consider that before it's approved or whatever. And I do have pictures if you would like to see them, that how close it is to my property line. And I just thank you for hearing me today.
Thank you.
I'd like to see them.
Yeah, Ms. Langston,
Ma'am?
I'd like to see the
your
pictures.
your
if you have 'em.
photographs.
Okay, this is the end of my house, and if you can see, let me see this. Let me find a different one.
Marshall's.
But it will back up right here to that. So there's my property line.
Yeah.
The fence right here is back here, so it'll be like right past that dirt. I have another picture. I can find it real quick. Just trying to repair it.
Ms. Langston, could you email those photographs to us?
Actually, I'm gonna, Ms. Langston, if you would, I'm gonna give you my card with my email address on it. If you'll email it to me, then we can make those photos part of the record for the
Sure,
whole thing
absolutely.
and distribute them to the
See
council.
the property line, that white thing right there? And there's the end of my house.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for hearing me.
Just email
Thank
me
you,
those
ma'am.
pictures and we'll put 'em in there.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of ordinance number 2022-08?
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am, come up, please. If you would sign your name there and announce your name when you go to the podium. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Jenna Emaheiser Garrett, and I can spell that last name for you guys. Emaheiser is spelled Emaheiser, and it's hyphen Garrett, Garrett. I am a resident as well in Hidden Pine subdivision. I live at 178 Roundtree Drive. I am diagonal from Miss Langston's property. And basically, I echo what they have stated. I do have young children. And also, when you put in an impound lot, my brother owns a body shop, so I'm kind of familiar with the car business. When you bring in cars that have been repoed, the people who usually do get their cars repoed are not great citizens. So that is my main concern, is who's gonna be coming over there in the night. We have had some issues with not so great people coming through our neighborhood already that we have addressed with our local police department, and the concern of the small children in the neighborhood. You know, personally do not let my kids out late, but there are some kids that are out there. So if you have people who come in or trying to get to their cars, are they gonna come through our neighborhood? Are they gonna walk through our yards that are not fenced off? The next thing, of course, you know, our property value. When you bring in an impound lot, I would assume that that may make our property value go down. I know I wouldn't want to live next to one, and that's, of course, why we're all here tonight. So, and that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of ordinance number 2022-08? Yes, come up, please, sir. And announce your name when you go to vote.
Okay, I'll do it. So I'm actually the property owner, Mr. William Hickson. I bought the property back in 08, 09 with, the expectation I was gonna put a building in at that time to have an indoor softball facility. I had a variance approved at that time to put the building in, and I'd come down there and work with you guys. It's been a while. So 08, 09, economy went bad, things changed, so I kinda changed course, and I've had it ever since. So, the gentleman that's looking at buying the property now has, his business is up the street, just a few blocks. And, this overflow lot's gonna be used for what it says, for overflow. And, the real estate, I got a real estate guy here, Randy Durham, and, he's working with the potential buyer. He was talking about bringing 3 or 4 cars a day in. This is very low profile, it's just an overflow lot. At this particular time, he doesn't have a plan on putting a building or anything on. I know you guys have requirements for buffer zones, we understand that. I know I talked with Rick Quarles about that, and kinda got all the logistics, and that's been passed on, whether it's a fence or, you know, whether it's trees or whatever, to protect, you know, the citizens and the people in the neighborhood. So I know you guys have means for that, so anyway, I just wanted to pass that along.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hickson.
I'll add a comment.
Be sure and announce your name when you go to vote.
I'm Randy Durham. I'm a broker with Keller Williams Realty, and I represent Mr. Hickson in the sale of his property. And I have been the communications guy, well, linked with the buyer directly. So I would say one thing to try to address a couple of concerns that 2 people brought up is the owners of a repossessed car coming into the property to get to their car. This lot is to house vehicles, or, you know, to have a point of going out to a lender representative, the lien holder. So these cars are in the custody of the lien holder, and there is no direct communication or in-person visits or anything with the previous owner of that car. The lender, the lien holder, has taken that possession, and they are the ones that come to pick up the car and take it to wherever they auction them off. So there's never any interaction with the person under repossession. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of ordinance number 2022-08? Mayor, that would close the public hearing for that ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Our next item for the public hearing tonight is a public hearing for ordinance number 2022-09. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance number 2022-09, request from Joel Sullivan to have the property known as MAP 0002G098665 Patterson Avenue, current zoning R2, non-conforming use, to request to be rezoned to C1 to add space to the building. Is there anyone here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this rezoning request? Yes, come up if you would, sign this in just a minute. That one was for that one. There you go. That's fine. State your name when you go to the podium, sir.
My name is Joel Sullivan. I requested a zoning change to be able to build on our building. We've run out of space, and I don't know if I need to lay out what we did from the previous meeting. I was here on on March 1st. Should I tell y'all?
Yeah.
What we've got is our building now is approximately 1,100 square feet. I'm sorry, 1,400 square feet. We're wanting to build an L onto it to where we can have some more live rooms. And it's a recording studio, so there's no noise issue at all. Matter of fact, when you go by, you can't hear anything. It's insulated with double walls and that kind of thing. But we're just asking to get a zoning changed on it. Apparently, it has been a R2 since the beginning when it was built back in the 70s. And they didn't have an explanation of why it was. It should have been a C1 or a C2. And that's basically it. We're just wanting to add on to the building.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of ordinance number 2022-09? Mayor, doesn't appear anyone else is present. You can close that public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Our next item for the public hearing is a public hearing for ordinance number 2022-10. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2022-10, request from James Patton to have the property known as map 0013B010 Deets Road, current zoning C1, request a special exception to allow a veterinarian office and boarding facility. Is there anyone here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this zoning request?
I would.
Please come up, sir. Let me get you the right page. Please announce your name when you go to the podium.
Thanks, Council, for having me tonight. My name's Dr. Brandon Tyndall. I'd just like to introduce myself. I'll be the main veterinarian at this proposed site of Parkway Animal Clinic. We're excited about providing this clinic, this service to the area. I think we can do a lot of good for your clients, your community, and we just wanted to see if there's any questions or concerns about the facility, what we're trying to bring to the area, and once again, excited to be here and excited to help.
Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so it's going to be roughly the hospital 6,000 square feet. We're truly just going to service cats and dogs. We're trying to do a high volume, lower cost clinic, but at the same time, we're going to do high quality medicine, progressive medicine. We'll do your standard basic care, vaccines, dentistry, surgery. Also at the same time, we'll be trained in orthopedic surgeries, also advanced soft tissue surgery, and bring an extra component to the area for sure in that aspect. And at the same time, we didn't last time have a true property outline for what we want to do in boarding. We also plan on having a boarding facility with indoor only runs to also service that part of the spectrum.
Grooming?
So maybe.
Maybe?
Groomers are sometimes finicky to get, and we will.
Okay.
And so it's on the things to do, but definitely the top two priorities is medicine, boarding, and grooming if we can.
Okay, great.
Is this next to the med static, storage buildings?
No, I don't know the exact name of that,
I can't, I'm looking at this.
but.
Tell us where it's
Yeah,
at,
it's truly
Rick.
behind the Wendy's and
Wendy's,
Verizon.
that's, yeah, it is,
Yeah.
it is.
So,
All right.
and so I didn't know what the metal building was to the side, but if that's it, we're right next to it,
Okay.
for sure. And I would also like to say, hey, some people are possibly a little bit hesitant of the boarding facility. It's one of those things that can always be structured where noise concern can be at a minimum. Like, hey, if you basically walk or take animals outside at a certain number individually, you won't have the noise you normally do. If we do like an indoor boarding facility with a daycare, that would all have to be indoors, because once you put it outside, it will be loud, and we wouldn't want to do that for surrounding area, because it does echo.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's exciting, thank you.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of ordinance number 2022-10? Mayor, doesn't appear that anyone else is present. That public hearing can be closed.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Next item on our public hearing tonight is a public hearing for ordinance number 2022-11. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2022-11, request from Cabela's Wholesale LLC to have the property known as MAP 0011B25500A 350 Cobb Parkway, current zoning C2, request a special exception to allow for an outside storage building. Is there anyone here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of that zoning request? Yes, sir, come up, please, sir. Yes, absolutely.
Take one, pass it around.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I could have your name right there. Announce your name when you go to the podium. Sure.
Hello, I'm Doug Weston. I'm with U-Haul Company, and what we're seeking to do is acquire the old Cabela's building right off I-75, Cobb Parkway, and through adaptive reuse, convert it into a self-storage facility and a rental and retail outlet for U-Haul. So it'll all be indoor, very secure, climate-controlled storage, individually alarmed rooms, state-of-the-art technology. You can kind of see through the book here, there's some conceptual drawings that show that we're going to try to keep as much of the look of the Cabela's building as we can, while incorporating a little bit of our own branding as well. So, and some of those images are towards the back of the book, if you see. I know at one point in our process here, it was brought up the amount of traffic that this might generate. So on page 5, there's a table that shows a use comparison of different types of businesses and traffic. You can see here our normal U-Haul center through the week is about 31 trips a day. On Saturday, our busiest day goes up to about 53 trips a day. A fraction of what you might see at, say, fast food restaurants at over 3,000, or casual dining restaurant at over 1,000, and so on. So, in a nutshell, that's what we're doing, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Will you be doing truck rentals as
Yes, sir.
well?
Yes, sir, we will.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did everyone get a copy?
Yes, here's an extra.
Actually, may we have that one for the city clerk to maintain it for the record? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak either in favor of or opposition of ordinance number 2022-11? Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. That does close the public hearing for ordinance number 2022-11. Our next public hearing is for ordinance number 2022-12. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2022-12, request from Amy Faulkner to have the property known as MAP 0003F035, 2864 Lafayette Road, current zoning C1, request a special exception to allow for an outside storage building. Is there anyone that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of the zoning request? Mayor, it doesn't appear that anyone's present to speak either in favor of or in opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. That does close the public hearing for ordinance number 2022-12. Next item for our public hearing tonight is a public hearing for ordinance number 2022-13. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2022-13, request from Rajana, I apologize for the pronunciation, to have the property known as MAP 0003C012, 1281 Battlefield Parkway, current zoning C1, request a special exception to allow a retail store to operate out of building. Is there anyone here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this ordinance request? Mayor, it doesn't appear anyone's present to speak in favor of or in opposition of.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. That does close the public hearing for ordinance number 2022-13, and that does conclude our public hearing for tonight. At this time, we will call our regularly scheduled council meeting to order. If you would, Mr. Stoltz, please call the roll.
Mayor Earl Gray,
Here.
Jim Childs, councilman.
Here.
Craig Crawford, councilman.
Here.
Derek Rogers, councilman.
Here.
Rhonda James, council lady.
Here.
Paula Stenick, council lady.
Here.
Mayor,
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. We do have a quorum for tonight's meeting. This time we'll do our invocation and our pledge. If you would, Miss Stenick, please lead us in prayer, and Miss James, lead us in the pledge, please.
Please. Make our beginning in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Lord, thank you for bringing us here tonight to stand before you, to do your will. Lord, you chose 12 of the most unlikely outsiders, and you changed the world. Lord, we pray that you will lay your hands upon those who are standing here this evening, that we may do your will throughout the city of Fort Oglethorpe. Lord, be with all those who serve, and we pray for peace throughout the world. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we'll set the agenda for tonight's meeting. Ms. Hume, do you have any additions or any deletions?
No, Mr. Mayor.
No additions or any deletions. I'll entertain a motion to set the agenda as recorded.
Make a motion.
Second, sir.
Motion by Mr. Crawford and second by Mr. Childs. All in favor, say aye.
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 Agenda is set. Next item on the agenda is the minutes from our previous council meeting, which was held on March the 14th, 2022. If members of council have had an opportunity to review the minutes, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Childs and a second by Mr. Crawford. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda is ordinances. First item under ordinances is the third and final reading for ordinance number 2022-06. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance number 2022-06, amendment and modification of the personnel ordinance of 2021-17, an ordinance to amend the code of ordinances, city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia employee personnel policies to provide for amendment to the employee personnel policies by resolution, to provide for the provisions therein as authorized by state law, to provide for modification, to provide for severability, to repeal conflicting ordinances or parts thereof, to provide for an adoption effective date, and for all other purposes allowed by law. First reading 28th day of February 2022, second reading 4th day of March 2022, third reading tonight. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Ms. James, second by Mr. Crawford. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, I'm sorry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Let's go with it. Let me back up here. I got so many notes here I can't read it. Ms. Stinney?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda is first and only reading for ordinance number 2022-08.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to intercede here. With respect to ordinances number 2022-08, 09, 10, 11, 12, and 13, I'm going to recommend to the council that we table those ordinances tonight as a final vote. The reason for it is there is a conflict in the Uniform Developmental Code, or Unified Developmental Code, and our charter. And as you are aware, our charter trumps the Unified Developmental Code. And basically, our charter requires that nothing brought before the council the first time can be voted on at a final hearing. I noticed this earlier this last week and after the agenda was in fact printed, and I would urge the council to table this matter until April 11th, when it can be brought back to the council for a second time and then properly voted on.
So that's 8 through 13?
Yes, sir.
So that we would do the first reading tonight,
First reading tonight, public hearing, first reading tonight, yes,
and
sir.
we'd vote on them 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
So are you gonna do the first reading
Yes, sir,
on
will
each
do.
one of them and then table the vote, Mr. Stoltz?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. First reading for ordinance number 2022-08, Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2022-08, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof, Section 1, that the following property owned by William Hickson and known as map 0002G00100E, lot number 7, Vince Sparks property, Joy Street, current zoning industrial 1, request to be zoned C2 for an overflow lot to store cars for a repossession business. Would you like me to read all of it?
Well, sir, do you want us to vote to table each one separately, or you wanna do them as a group?
You can do either one, either one, Your Honor, but if you want to vote individually, that'll be fine.
I have a motion to table ordinance number 2022-08.
Make a motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Crawford, second by Mr. Childs. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ordinance number 2022-08 will be tabled to our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is April the 11th.
Ordinance number 2022-09, zoning amendment, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof, Section 1, that the following property owned by Joel Sullivan, known as map 0002G098665 Patterson Avenue, current zoning R2, non-conforming use, request to be rezoned C1 to add addition to the building, and to request new addition to have the same building line as existing building. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. I have a motion to table ordinance number 2022-09 until our regularly scheduled April 11th meeting.
Make a motion. Second.
Motion by Ms. James and a second by Mr. Crawford. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ordinance number 2022-09 will be tabled until our April 11th meeting. Next item is ordinance number 2022-10.
Ordinance number 2210, zoning amendment, be ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof. Section 1, that the following property owned by James Patton and known as map 0013B010 Deets Road, current zoning C1, requests a special exception to allow for a veterinarian office and boarding facility without outdoor runs. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. I have a motion to table ordinance number 2022-10 until our April 11th meeting.
Make a motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Crawford, second by Mr. Rogers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ordinance number 2022-10 is tabled until our April 11th meeting. Next item is ordinance number 2022-11.
Ordinance number 2211, zoning amendment, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof. Section 1, that the following property owned by Cabela's Wholesale LLC and known as MAP 0011B25500A Deets Road, 350 Cobb Parkway, current zoning C2, requests a special exception to allow for self-storage truck and trailer rental center. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. I have a motion to table ordinance number 2022-11 until April 11th.
Make a motion.
Second.
Is that Mr. Crawford or Mr. Rogers?
Mr. Crawford and Mr. Childs.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ordinance number 2022-11 is tabled until our April 11th meeting. Next item is ordinance number 2022-12.
Ordinance number 2212, zoning amendment, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof. Section 1, that the following property owned by Amy Faulkner, known as MAP 0003F0352864 Lafayette Road, current zoning C1, requests a special exception to allow for an outdoor storage building. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Have a motion to table ordinance number 2022-12.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Childs, second by Mr. Rogers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ordinance number 2022-12 is tabled until our April 11th meeting. Next item is ordinance number 2022-13.
Ordinance number 2022-13, zoning amendment, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof. Section 1, that the following property owned by Tajit M. Rajin, DUFB Investments Incorporated and known as MAP 0003C01200001281 Battlefield Parkway, current zoning C1, requests a special exception to allow for cigar and tobacco shop. Said property is particularly described in Exhibit A. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. I have a motion to table ordinance number 2022-13 until April the 11th.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. James, second by Mr. Childs. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ordinance number 2022-13 is tabled until our April 11th meeting. Next item under ordinances is the second reading of ordinance number 2022-14. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance number 2022-14, amendment to the City of Fort Oglethorpe Code of Ordinances by creation of Lafayette Road Overlay District. An ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, to adopt the Lafayette Road Overlay District, to amend the city's Unified Developmental Code, Chapter 2, Article 3, Section 3.2, to address issues of public safety, health, and general welfare of the citizens and sojourners of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, to provide for the use, visual, and architectural character of the Lafayette Road Overlay District, to provide for development and redevelopment of land, uses, and buildings in the Lafayette Road Overlay District, to amend the official city zoning map at Chapter 2, Article 1, Section 1.2, to provide for the provisions therein as authorized by state law, to provide for modifications, to provide for severability, to repeal conflicting ordinances or parts thereof, to provide for an adoption effective date, and for all other purposes allowed by law. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. That does conclude our ordinances for tonight. I apologize to you people that came expecting to get a reading tonight. I don't know if y'all are aware or not, we did just recently adopt a new UDC code, and it contradicts with our charter, which says we cannot vote on a issue that is at the same night that we have the public hearing. We have to wait until the next scheduled meeting. And I apologize that you folks are gonna have to come back on April 11th. But it is a learning lesson for us, and we won't make the mistake again. It was a major change for the city with our UDC code, and the attorney found that it was a conflict, and, you know, we wanna do it right. We don't want you to have to come back in a year and, you know, somebody say you weren't really zoned for that and contest it and go through court battles and everything else. So, again, on behalf of myself and the council, we apologize, but we'd rather get it right as we had to get it wrong. So we're sorry, and we look forward to seeing you April the 11th. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item number 1 under new business, recommendation to issue an alcoholic beverage license for Fort Tobacco and Beer at 2800 Lafayette Road. Mr. Stokes.
Yes, sir, Mayor. The applicant has gone through the process of making this application. The Fort Oglethorpe Police Department, Building Office, and other city staff have reviewed the application. Everything appears to be in proper order. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Do I have a second? Last call for a second. There is no second. The recommendation to issue an alcoholic beverage license for tobacco and beer is denied. Item number 2, under new business, recommendation to procure metal lockers for the Fort Oglethorpe Police Department. Chief Sewell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. The final piece of the puzzle in the renovation of the police department. In continuing the renovation of the police department, officers are in need of secure lockers to store additional or spare uniforms, equipment, and personal items. The department is dedicated 2 areas, one male, one female, for locker rooms, and is in need of lockers to provide a safe and secure place for officers to store their items. The police department did solicit quotes from 3 vendors for the purchase of these metal lockers, from Gorgensen Industrial Companies, doing business as schoollockers.com, was the most responsive with the lowest quoted price of $13,129. If this purchase is approved, the construction, delivery, and installation will take approximately 16 weeks due to supply chain issues. The funding for this will be the drug forfeiture funds.
Thank you, Chief Sewell. I have a motion to approve.
So moved, sir.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Stinnett, second by Mr. Childs. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 3, recommendation to award a construction contract for Deets Road and Battlefield Parkway intersection improvements. Mr. Long.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Back 2018, the council awarded CTI the task order for design for the new for Deets Road when Publix was coming in to that area to alleviate traffic, and this will be an improvement there for Deets Road and Battlefield Parkway. We put it out for bid, and on didn't have the date here. think it was March the 10th, we opened the bid, had one bid from Tally Construction in the amount of $1,408,779.42. And this bid, when the engineers looked at it, was a responsive bid. This is a 120-day project. Once we have, if it's approved, and then we have the notice to proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Long. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Childs, second by Mr. Crawford. Any discussion?
Ain't happened soon enough.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 4, recommendation to procure a Mosquito fogger machine and to declare surplus the fogging machine currently in use. Mr. Long.
Yes, the Public Works has the daily mosquito fogging route throughout the city during spring up to early fall of the season. Our mosquito machine is approximately 25 years old and it has reached its unuseful life. And we have received quotes from 3 vendors, and the lowest was from Versus. It's a London Fogger model 1820, and the price is $12,980. And as you said, if this is approved, we recommend to declare surplus on the old machine and put it on Gov Deals for sale.
Thank you, Mr. Long. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. James, second by Mr. Childs. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 5, recommendation to award a contract for the procurement and installation of perimeter fencing and block pillars at the Barnhart Circle ball fields. Mr. Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The Recreation Leisure Services Department recommends approval to award a contract for the procurement and installation of perimeter fencing around the baseball and softball fields at Barnhart to Goodson Fencing in the amount of $131,572.63. And a contract for the installation of block pillars to Robert Flores in the amount of $11,400 for a total contract amount of $142,975.63. The current chain link fencing surrounding the fields at Barnhart Circle have been in place for over 50 years and are in dire need of replacement. And the Recreation Leisure Services Department advertised a bidding opportunity for the perimeter fencing and received one response from Goodson Fencing in the amount of $131,573.63. And additionally, we solicited quotes from 3 vendors for pillars to be installed at the gates of the entrance of each part of the park. And the lowest responsive quote for the pillars was received from Robert Flores in the amount of $11,400. And this fencing will be the commercial grade ornamental fencing, not regular chain link. If this procurement is approved, it's expected this work will be completed within 90 days, and the funding would be from SPLOST.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Crawford, second by Mr. Childs. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 6, recommendation to award a contract for exterior painting services at 10 Barnhart Circle. Mr. Ellis.
Yes, Mayor and Council, the Recreation Leisure Services Department intends to use the city-owned building at 10 Barnhart Circle, known as the Old Library, as a space for community and recreation-based events and activities. This building will also house the Recreation Leisure Services Departments and will provide a central location for families and players to conduct administrative activities related to recreation activities, like team sign-ups and meetings. To make the facility suitable for public use and city operations, the building is in need of some improvements, including exterior painting. The Recreation Leisure Services Department solicited quotes from 3 vendors, and the lowest responsive quote was received from Randy Wilson Painting in the amount of $11,695. If this contract is approved, the work is again expected to be completed within 90 days, and the funding for this is also from SPLOST.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Child, second by Ms. James. Any discussion?
Yeah, how far along are we on the inside of it?
Most of the insides are ready to be moved into. The bathrooms are usable, but eventually we're gonna renovate the restrooms as well, we hope to.
We also expect to incorporate some trophy cases in there to house some of the trophies from a while back. We're just waiting on some more quotes for those.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Tony,
Right.
I saw on Facebook we're having a girls softball tournament.
Yeah,
Have we ever had one?
I think so.
Have we? I thought it was good.
We're having one.
I know.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I go back to the fillers? I'm just curious.
Tony,
You're gonna have them over there by the concession stand, and then they're gonna be on around?
Well, at each entrance to the park, like when you walk in, there'll be a pillar at each gate.
Okay,
A block pillar, kind of similar to what's at Gilbert Stevenson.
okay, that's what I thought, but
May not be the same exact color, but the same type pillar at each entrance to the park, with the ornamental fencing going all the way around.
that'll look nice.
So it should coordinate nicely with the property on First and Second Street as well.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
next item on the agenda is City Manager's Report. Ms. Hume.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just one thing tonight. Today we published a list of frequently asked questions on the city's website regarding the package store sales application. So there are a list of about 8 or 9 questions on there. Pretty much just about any question you can imagine about the application process. If you or someone you know has questions about the application process as we go on, we will update this list and add to it as questions come in. So please feel free to have them email me or the city attorney or the city clerk, and we'll be happy to get those questions answered as quickly as possible. And the application period again closes April 25th at 5 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Hume. Next item on the agenda, Mayor and Council comments. Glad to see you guys out there. Had to endure a little bit of time tonight. I'm assuming somebody's gonna get to you down at the end here. Mr. Child.
No comments.
Mr. Crawford.
The only comment I got is next week will be spring break.
Really?
Yeah, so the neighborhoods will probably have more kids playing throughout the day, so just take caution when you're going through. And that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Roberts.
I don't have anything, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. James.
No comment.
Ms. Stinnett.
Of course. I'd like to thank everyone who came out to the workday at Honor Park, a tribute to those who served this past weekend. And progress is definitely being made. It's a beautiful, beautiful area, and I hope you'll all visit 1 Claiborne Street and see it. Clean Catoosa, Saturday, April 23rd. A lot of organizations participating in Clean Catoosa this year, and we have a large number of people participating at Honor Park. So please contact them at Clean Catoosa to sign up today with you and your organization. May 14th, Saturday, from 10 till 12, honoring those who serve. This year, our special honorees are law enforcement. We'll also be celebrating with a fundraiser, art sale to benefit the Children's Advocacy Center. Hope to see you all there. Sir?
Thank you, ma'am. Next item on the agenda is executive session. I'll entertain a motion to go in executive session.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Childs, second by Mr. Crawford. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This council is in executive session. Need a motion to come out of executive session.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Childs, second by Ms. James. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This council is out of executive session. In executive session, we discussed personnel. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion. Second.
Motion Mr. Crawford, second by Mr. Rogers. All in favor say aye. Aye. This meeting is adjourned.